I watched your video under a broken roof. We don't have much, but you made me believe I can do something too. Daniel sat silently for a while. He realized this was never about fame or followers. It was always about impact, the quiet kind that changes someone's path forever. That evening, at a community event, Daniel stood on stage. Years ago, he said, I thought life had nothing left for me. But a book, a library, and a few words of kindness lit a spark. All I did was protect that spark until it became a fire. He looked at the crowd, young, old, tired, hopeful. Everyone here has a light inside. Some of you just forgot it's there. But trust me, even the smallest flame can light the darkest night. The audience stood and applauded, not just for Daniel, but for themselves. For the hope they felt. For the journeys they were yet to begin. Daniel walked off stage, his heart full. He wasn't the same boy who once feared failure. He was now the man who taught others how to rise from it. The light within him had spread. Still, the journey wasn't easy. Some weeks he had no clients. Other times, he made costly mistakes. But unlike before, he didn't give up. Every failure became a lesson, not a punishment. One evening, Daniel received an email from a local school asking him to speak to students about his journey. He stared at the screen in disbelief. Me? A guest speaker, he whispered. Standing in front of 60 teenagers that week, Daniel shared his story, not of success, but of struggle, of falling and getting up again. He saw in their eyes what he once lost in himself, possibility. After the school talk, something changed in Daniel. He realized that his story could help others the way those library books once helped him. So, he began a small YouTube channel called Rise with Blake. He recorded videos using his phone, talking about mindset, failure, building habits, and real-life lessons. At first, only a few people watched. But he kept going. One video, The Day I Almost Gave Up, went viral. Comments flooded in, "Thank you for this. I needed it. Your story gave me strength. I'm starting over, just like you." Daniel was no longer just fixing devices, he was helping repair lives. He was invited to events, featured in a local newspaper, and eventually offered a partnership by a tech startup that loved his vision. He didn't accept immediately. That night, he went to the library again. Mr. Whitaker was there, reading as always. Daniel sat beside him and said, "How do I know I'm ready?" Mr. Whitaker smiled. "You're never fully ready. You just decide to begin, and grow along the way." Daniel took the offer. With the startup support, he opened a tech hub where teens could learn repair skills, content creation, and personal development, all for free. From a lonely boy with cold coffee to a mentor building futures, Daniel had come full circle. Not because life became easier, but because he became stronger. 2 years later, Blake Tech was more than just a brand, it had become a movement. Daniel had opened 3 more tech hubs across England. Each one was filled with young people learning, creating, and dreaming. In Manchester, a girl named Amelia, once a school dropout, now ran workshops on graphic design. In Birmingham, a shy boy named Yusuf had started his own YouTube channel after training with Daniel. One day, Daniel received a letter. It was handwritten, from a boy in a small village near Leeds. It read. An elderly librarian named Mr. Whitaker looked up and smiled. Looking for something specific, he asked. Daniel shrugged. Just escaping the noise. Mr. Whitaker nodded. Books are good at that. That night, Daniel picked up a book titled, The Power of One Choice. It wasn't a bestseller, but something in the title caught him. He read a few pages and felt something stir inside him, a feeling he hadn't felt in years, hope. Over the next few days, Daniel returned to the library every evening. He began reading more books on self-growth, motivation, and biographies of people who turned failure into success, like Thomas Edison, J.K. Rowling, and Steve Jobs. For the first time, Daniel realized something powerful: failure wasn't the end. It was just a chapter. And he had the pen to write the next one. Daniel started changing his daily routine. Instead of waking up just in time for work, he began waking up at 6 a.m. He would jog in the nearby park, listen to podcasts on success, and jot down thoughts in a notebook he now called his life journal. The changes were small, but they were steady. He felt more focused, more alive. One morning, as he wrote down his goal of starting a small tech repair business, something inside him whispered, "Why not today?" Daniel took the leap. He used his savings to buy a few tools and started offering repair services from his apartment. At first, it was just neighbors and friends, but word began to spread. Months passed. His room turned into a small workshop. He named his venture, Blake Tech. Mr. Whitaker, the librarian, became his mentor, offering business tips and helping him stay grounded. What if one ordinary moment could change your entire life? This is the story of Daniel, from hopeless to hero. Stay till the end. It might just awaken your light too. In a world where dreams often fade into silence, one young man refused to give up. This is the story of Daniel, a boy lost in darkness, until he found the light within. From broken moments to bold steps. From fear to fire. This is not just a story. It's a journey. A transformation. A spark of hope. This is From Darkness to Light, the awakening of Daniel. In the bustling streets of London, a young man named Daniel Blake walked alone. He was 26, a college dropout, and currently working at a small electronics store. Every morning felt like a repeat of the last: grey skies, cold coffee, and the constant question, is this all life has to offer? Daniel wasn't lazy, but life had knocked him down more times than he could count. His father had died when he was 15, and since then, survival had become his main goal. Dreams were luxuries he couldn't afford. One evening, after closing the shop, Daniel passed by a library. Its lights were still on. Out of curiosity, he walked in. The smell of old books and silence welcomed him like an old friend.